Drop it.
Hello, good day. Once again, welcome to our e-learning for today. And our topic will be land and climate of the West. So let's go to our topic. So what are the things to do for today's lesson? First, I want you to finish this YouTube video patiently. Everything, every detail and instructions are actually here. So please finish it from start to the end. Next, you're going to do the worksheet that is attached in your class dojo, and the Socrative assignment for social studies will be on Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Now let's go to the main lesson for today. Let's start discussing. So the discussion of the land and the climate. So this is the first page of the lesson. So land and climate of the West. So build on what you know. Many movies show the West as hot and dusty. This is true for parts of the West. Other parts are cool and rainy. So land and water of the West. So what's the main idea? The West is divided by mountain ranges and rivers. The West is a huge region of 13 states. So we have 13 states of the West. Land and water separate 2 of these states from the others. The other 11 states lie east of the Pacific Ocean and between Canada and Mexico. The map shows how we divide these states into 3 regions. These are the Southwest, Mountain, and Pacific states. Now let's continue. Because the West is so big, its land and climate vary greatly. The region has towering mountains and deep valleys. It has dry deserts and tropical forests. It has frozen glaciers and smoking volcanoes. It has the country's warmest and coldest temperatures. The western states are each very different, yet they are all rich in natural beauty and natural resources. So you can see here the natural beauty and natural resources of the West. So western coastline, much of the western coastline is rugged and rocky. Sea otters live in this area. So this is a sea otter, okay? So I'm going to summarize the second paragraph right now. Land of the West. The West has a lot of mountains, as you can see here in this picture. This is the Rocky Mountains. And there's a lot of valleys, or flatlands here, that are surrounded or in between mountains. Number 3, we have also deserts in the West. So we have also glaciers in number 4. And as we have discussed before, glaciers are big chunks of slowly moving ice. And number 5, volcanoes. So we have 5 different landforms in the West. We have mountains, valleys, deserts, glaciers, and volcanoes. And going to the climate of the West as a summary. So the West has the warmest climate or temperatures in the whole USA, and also has the coldest temperatures. So it varies from warmest to the coldest temperatures. So let's continue our lesson. So here we can see the legend, the Southwest. So if it's the peach color or somewhat like orange, that's the Southwest. So Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, all of these are Southwest states. And then we can see here the purple, mountain states. So Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, and Colorado are the mountain states because of the Rocky Mountains over here. And finally, Pacific states, which means that they are near the Pacific Ocean. So we have Washington, Oregon, California, Alaska over here at the top, and Hawaii, which is in the Pacific Ocean. So this is the map. Now I'm going to explain to you this map with the special places and parts of this map right now. Now let's discuss the mountains of the West. So there's a lot of mountains in the West. So first we have the Rocky Mountains. So as you can see here in the map, this is the Rocky Mountains. It's a very long mountain from the top. Some parts of Canada are also included, going down over here in Santa Fe. Okay. Next, we have also the second one is the Cascade Ranges. So it's a group of mountains again. Next, we have the Coast Ranges. So it's named Coast Ranges because it's near the coast, as you can see in this picture. So we have mountains near the ocean. Okay. Next, finally, the fourth mountain here is the Sierra Nevada, which is located near Carson City, Nevada, as you can see here in this picture. So those are the 4 mountains that I wanted you to see. Now let's go and discuss the special places in the West. So the special places in the West are the following. So as you can see in this map, we have the Death Valley. So the Death Valley is one of the hottest places of the United States. So it's located near the Mojave Desert, so the Death Valley. Next, we have also the Great Salt Lake. So this is the Great Salt Lake. So it's a lake that's surrounded by many flat land whatsoever, and the water cannot escape. That's why there are a lot of minerals here, and these minerals makes this lake very salty. Next, we have the Mojave Desert, and this is one of the best deserts in the United States. So let's continue reading. So here, mountains in the west. So 4 mountain systems run north and south in the west. The Rocky Mountains form as tectonic plates, push against each other, causing the Earth's crust to fold. Today, movement along faults or breaks in the crust causes many earthquakes in the west. So I'm going to show you right now an explanation of how Rocky Mountains were formed because of tectonic plates. So as you can see here in this picture, this is tectonic plates, Rocky Mountains. So this is plate letter A and plate letter B, and they are pushing against each other for like millions of years. And after millions of years, this will produce a very large or big mountain in the middle. That's why Rocky Mountains was actually formed. For billions of years, these plates have been pushing each other, so it will form a mountain. Let's continue reading. So other mountains like the volcanoes in the Cascades range form when melted rock or lava bubbled up from openings in the Earth's crust and hardened. So hardened lava formed Cascade Range. Volcanoes release geothermal energy in the form of lava and gas. Geothermal refers to the heat from beneath Earth's crust. So beneath our Earth, there's a molten core which is very hot, and this energy coming from the heat is what we call the geothermal energy. Okay, so I'm going to summarize this second paragraph right now. So for Cascade Ranges, so the Cascade Ranges is made up from hardened lava. So lava is molten rock and it's hardened. So as you can see here in this picture, we have a very small volcano. So let's say that this is this volcano has spewed lava for like 2 years. Okay, so every 2 years it's spewing or it's producing lava, for example, from the mouth or the crater here. So 5 years it will go up like this. Let's say another 5 years, it's going up. Another 5 years, another 5 years, another 10 years, let's say. So for many years, it's spewing out lava, and the mountain or the volcano keeps on growing and growing and growing and growing for many years. So after, let's say, hundreds of years, or let's say millions of years or thousands of years, the small volcano will become a very big volcano, and it will look like this. Alright, let's continue reading. Between the mountains lie valleys, basins, and raised flat areas called plateaus. We discussed before what are plateaus. So they are raised flat areas. So they are flat at the top. So glaciers created some valleys, such as the Yosemite Valley. Rivers carve out deep, steep-sided valleys called canyons. One example is the Grand Canyon in Arizona. So I'm going to show you a picture right now of the Grand Canyon over here. Next, the landscape between the Rockies and the Western Ranges is rugged yet beautiful. So when you say Rockies, it's the same with the Rocky Mountain. Okay, so they just shortened the words Rocky Mountain into Rockies, and Western Ranges is rugged yet beautiful. It has ranching and mining businesses. So the people in the West have two main businesses. We have ranching and mining. So I'm going to show you pictures right now of ranching over here and mining. Now let's continue. Many tourists visit the area to ski and hike. Alright, so they love skiing and hiking. So when you say skiing, let's see here and this picture, and hiking in this picture. Okay, so much of the land is set aside for people to enjoy nature. So they are protecting the nature so that people will enjoy it. The next page, and the topic is water, climate, and wildlife. So the main idea here is water affects the Western climate. It supports the life of people, plants, and animals. Many rivers flow west from the Rocky Mountains. Their water provides irrigation for millions of acres of farmland. So people in the West are using water for irrigation. So what is irrigation? So irrigation means supplying land with water. So if your land doesn't have water, they will put canals and it will supply a lot of water so that you can water your plants. So the need for water led many people in the West to settle in coastal areas that get the most rain. So people wanted to settle in the West, in the coastal areas, because there's a lot of rain over there. So if there's a lot of rain, farming and watering your plants is quite easy. Now let's continue. People in the West use water carefully. For example, they use dams to produce hydroelectric power. Hydroelectric power is electricity produced from flowing water. Some dams create lakes, such as Lake Mead in the Mojave Desert. So I'm going to show you some explanations here. So I'm going to explain to you what are dams and hydroelectric power plants. So we've discussed before that dams are a blockade of water from higher place to a lower place, and they use this for producing electricity. So how do they produce electricity in hydroelectric power plant? So I've discussed it before. I'm going to show it to you again. So here, this is the first step. This is a dam right now, and there's a small narrow opening here going down here. Now for the first step, they will let go the water. So this water will flow down and it will go here. Because of the force of the water, this turbine will be turning rapidly, and as it turns, it will generate or produce electricity, and that is number 3. And number 4, this electricity will be sent to a transformer, and it goes to the wires, and this will be the electricity going into our houses as energy. So that's how hydroelectric power plant produces electricity. Let's continue reading. Other lakes in the West form naturally. The Great Salt Lake has no outlet to the sea. Its water carries many minerals. As the water evaporates, it leaves these minerals behind. The minerals make the lake water much saltier than ocean water. So as I explained quite a while ago about the Great Salt Lake, alright? So there's a lot of minerals. That's why it becomes saltier every year. Let's continue reading. The Pacific Ocean affects climates in the West. So cold, moist air flow east from the Northwest Pacific. As the air rises over the western ranges, it drops rain and snow on the western slope. Dry air then flows down the eastern slopes, giving it an arid climate. Arid means very dry. So very dry, there's no quite enough water. So there's no rain, that's why it's called arid. And most of arid lands are very hot. There are 3 factors here affecting the climate of the West. So first, we have latitude, the ocean, and elevation affect temperatures in the West. Alaska is in the northern latitudes, so it has short summers and long winters. Cold ocean breezes give coastal areas moderate temperatures. Places at high elevations have lower temperatures. On Mount McKinley, the temperature can fall below negative 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is too cold. So as you can see here in this picture below. Now let's summarize this 2 paragraphs here, this last 2 paragraphs. So there are 3 factors affecting climate of the West. So the first one, as you can see here, is the latitude. So we discussed it before in first semester. So this is the equator, and these yellow lines here are what we call the latitude. So as you can see, we have 30 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. So the rule here is that in latitudes, the farther the place from the equator, the colder the temperature. So if you are living here in the 60 degrees north, these places are actually very cold because you are very far from the equator. The same is true with 90 degrees south, or let's say 45 degrees south. So if you live in these places over here, just like Antarctica, it means that it's very, very cold. But if you are very near the equator, it means that the place is very warm or very hot. So as you can see here, this is number 2, coastal breeze. Coastal areas usually get cooler winds, or what we call the breeze from the ocean. So as you can see in this picture, there's a cold air coming from the ocean or the sea, and it goes here. So people will feel moderate temperatures here or colder temperatures. And the land that is warm, or the air temperature, will go back to here, and it circulates. So that's why it has moderate temperatures over here, because of the cycle of hot and cold air in this area. And finally, in number 3, what is elevation? So elevation is the distance between the sea level and a place. So for example, this mountain. So the higher the elevation, the colder the temperature. So which means that if you are living in the top of the mountain, every top of the mountain, the temperature is colder. So that's why if you are going to Mount Everest, the tip of Mount Everest is very cold, because the elevation is very far from the sea level. So if you are in the lower area, it means that the temperature is a little bit warmer. So remember, the higher the elevation, so the higher place you are, the colder the temperatures. And the lower place that you are living, the warmer the temperatures. Remember that. So that's the summary of our factors affecting the climate of the West. Again, latitude, the closeness to the ocean, and the elevation. Okay? So plants and animals of the West. Plant life varies with the climate. In Hawaii, orchids and other tropical plants thrive. Plants that need little water, such as cactus and mesquite, grow in arid areas. Mesquite's deep roots can reach underground water. Giant redwood trees grow in wet coastal areas. In the mountains are some of the Earth's oldest living things, briscone pine trees. Now here, you can see at least 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 different types of plants. And here in the second paragraph, a variety of animals live in the West. The huge Alaskan brown bear can weigh 1,700 pounds. The moose is another large animal of the West. The California condor is the largest flying bird in North America. Elk, bighorn sheep, and cougars roam the mountains. Lizards, scorpions, tarantulas, and snakes have adapted to the dry heat of the Southwest. So I'm going to give you some pictures so that you can see how they look like and some explanations of these plants and animals of the West. So number 1, we have orchids. They are very beautiful flowers. Number 2, cactus here. Number 3, mesquite. So mesquite is a small tree that has this type of fruit. Okay. Number 4, we have the giant redwood. So look at this, very big, very large. So I'm going to give you a picture, and there's a car passing underneath it, so it's so big. And number 5, oldest trees in the world. So one of the oldest trees in the world, we call this the bristlecone pine tree. Okay, so as you can see, it's quite old. So these are the plants. So these are the plants in the West. So how about the animals in the West? So animals in the West are the following. First, the brown bear. So I think you know how it looks like. Moose. Okay. Condor is one of the largest birds in the North America. Okay. Number 4 is an elk. It has sharper horns. Next, bighorn sheep. So as you can see, there's a reason why they called it a bighorn sheep. Number 6, we have cougars. This is our lesson before. I think you know a lot about cougars. Number 7, we have also lizards. A lot of lizards in the West. We have scorpions, some poisonous, and some are kept as pets. I don't know why. Number 9, tarantulas. These are very big, hairy spiders. And number 10, they have a lot of species of snakes in the West. Okay, so these are the animals in the West. So I have 1 to 10. Lesson summary. So here, the first one, landforms in the West include mountains, valleys, plateaus, canyons, and bases. So the West have many landforms. We have 4 landforms here. Next, Westerners use rivers for power and for irrigation. So they use rivers for 2 main purposes only, for electricity and for watering their plants, which we call the irrigation. The West has many climates. So as we discussed, they have a lot of warm, moderate, and very cold areas. Finally, plants and animals have adapted to the different climates. Why it matters to learn about the West? Almost half the land in our country lies in the vast spaces of the West. So to finalize the ideas that you're going to learn for today, please just read the vocabulary and the reading skill, the main idea in the lesson review, and prepare for the Socrative task on Wednesday. Okay, so I'm going to close this right now. So let's go to the worksheet. I'm going to have a quick tour on the worksheet. How are you going to answer this one? So this is the worksheet for today. I want you to answer question number 1 up to question number 8 and some vocabulary words here. So just answer based on the pages. I think you know how to answer this. It's 3 pages only, so I think you can do that on your own for at least 20 minutes to 1 hour for today. Okay, so let's go back. And finally, the reminders. Your Socrative task for social studies will be again on Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Alright, so I think that's the end of our lesson for today. Thank you very much for watching. This is Mr. John signing off. Thank you and goodbye.